Mike and Cena Guy, doing a review on a different category type of movie. There's one particular movie that everyone seems to be talking about right now on YouTube, reviewing it or doing a rant on it. And someone emailed me asking me what I think about the movie. It's Good Burger. Good Burger that was released in fact, the official release date, July 25th of 1997. An American comedy film directed by Brian Robbins. And it stars Kenan and Kel. Okay. Now, right off the bat, everybody, you have to be a Kenan and Kel fan to like this movie. Well, mind you, with that being said, people who don't know who Kenan and Kel were at the time, and they watched the movie, they'd end up becoming fans of it anyway. You know, I had a friend at the time who didn't know who Kenan and Kel was because he didn't watch Nickelodeon or anything like that. And with me being the Kenan and Kel fan fanatic that I was, I showed him a few tapes of the Kenan and Kel shows. He liked them, and then he wanted to watch Good Burger, and he enjoyed it. But I've also shown this movie to some friends, and they've disliked it. Okay. Right off the bat, I'm going to say, yes, it's a silly movie. There's some stupid moments. But I didn't hate the movie. I can't help but like this movie because I was a big fan of Kenan and Kel growing up. I wasn't like the biggest die-hard Nickelodeon fan, but I admit that the shows they put on Nickelodeon back in the day are 10 times more better than the kids shows they get on the TV now, because everything on the TV now is just so fucking horseshit. But like I say, I love Kenan and Kel, so therefore I like this movie. In fact, the first time I watched this movie, I believe I was on holiday in Spain somewhere. And sadly, when we went on holiday in Spain, we had bad weather. And this one day of bad weather, I was actually flicking through some TV shows in my in the place where I was staying, and Good Burger was on. It just started, and I was like, "That looks like Kenan and Kel," you know. So I watched it. I found it funny, found it very humorous, stupid, silly moments, but in a good way. So I ended up liking the movie. Okay, it's a must-see for any Kenan and Kel fanatic or anyone who was a fan for Nickelodeon, for that matter. I mean, the plot's really simple. I mean, it opens up with Kel, you know, playing this, weirdo named Ed. And he works for Good Burger. There's a scene where it opens up where he's having a dream about fast food. You know, he takes a shower in his clothes, skates to work. There's a scene where he's dragging a girl, and there's a little basketball scene where he grabs a baby and all that shit. You know, he causes havoc along the way. And his famous catchphrase, "Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger, can I take your order?" He works at this fast food place called Good Burger, which apparently has been in business for many years. And we get an intro of Kenan's character by the name of Dexter. Dexter opens up in the scene where he causes his car to crash into Sinbad the Sailor's car, and he's got to pay for the damage. And this was all caused by Kel, because when he skated in the road, Kenan lost control, ended up crashing into Sinbad's car, so now he's got to, pay for the damage. And around this time, we learn that there's going to be competition for Good Burger, because across the street, Mondo Burger is opening. A similar type of fast food restaurant, but they're making like as if it's the second coming, basically. It's going to be better than Good Burger and better than any other fast food restaurant on the planet, because it looks like Planet Hollywood. All neon lights everywhere, they're trying to make it look as though it's like a really big deal. So now Good Burger's got competition. Okay, now Dexter at the time, he works for Mondo Burger. He ends up being let go because the owner there is like a bit of a dick. He's trying to make everyone believe that Mondo Burger is going to be the big deal. They've got to treat it like family. The job comes first before family and friends and hobbies and all that kind of shit. We get some jokes thrown in here and there, and it causes Kenan to get released. And Keenan's character, Dexter, then goes and works for Good Burger. And then we get introduced to some more characters of the staff who's working at Good Burger. We get a fat guy, Spatch, eats a fly when he kills it on his head and eats it. We've got an old guy who's getting ready to die. He's got a mask on and he does the fries. We've got one worker who doesn't eat meat. We get all these different types of characters. The owner employs Dexter, giving him a go after when Kel tries to get him a job there, and that indeed happens. But now Good Burger's not doing well, and Mondo Burger is succeeding. So there's even scenes where there's no customers in the Good Burger store. I mean, you do get loads of comedy along the way with Keenan and Kel's characters. I mean, lots of comedy here and there, but like in a silly, spoofy, stupid way. We've got a scene where Kel's character, Ed, is putting grapes up his nose, saying he's grape nose boy and shit like that. We get some sort of humorous tactics. Well, we say some comedy. It's the type of comedy that you'd see in a kid's playground. I mean, Kel's character in this movie, although he's innocent and a friendly guy who wants to make solid friendship with Keenan's character, Dexter, he's not all there in the mind. He's got some screws missing, but at the same time, he's innocent and he wants to make friends with him, basically. Keenan wants nothing to do with Kel because he finds out that it was Kel that caused him to wreck his car. And we learn that Mondo Burger is making bigger burgers than Good Burger. And they realise that's why the competition is so high, and that Mondo Burger's getting all the service and all the customers because their burgers are much bigger. Around this time, we find out that Kel's been making his own sauce. Each member of the staff, including Dexter, try the sauce. They like it, and they think that's a solution to the problem by putting all this sauce on their Good Burgers, and that'll bring the customers back in again. And that happens. Some other characters get thrown in. We get a sick scene with Shaquille O'Neal, Keenan and Kel running to the Chariots of Fire music, delivering him his Good Burger. We get scenes where Keenan and Kel go on a double date, with one of the workers at Good Burger and this other fit woman at Mondo Burger employees to try and find out what the recipe of Kel's sauce is. Because he's trying to find out, what is he putting in the sauce that's making the customers go fucking crazy and all that kind of shit. So, I wouldn't say the movie drags, but we do get scenes where this bonding between Keenan and Kel are developing. It started with disliking with Keenan's character towards Kel's character, but we get funny shit along the way, like the golf course scene where she gets hit in the head with Kel's golf club. There's a scene where she tries to kiss him and he fucking, throws her onto the ground and, so despite, Mondo Burger being successful with all these gigantic burgers, Good Burger's still beating them in competition with this new sauce. Keenan's telling Kel to keep his recipe about his sauce quiet. But it's the answer to Good Burger's problem because now all the customers are now coming in and turning their own back on Mondo Burger. I mean, we get a scene where Keenan and Kel end up in the mental institution. Because they're trying to find out why the burgers... Mondo Burger basically getting bigger because there's a scene where he feeds a dog a Good Burger and a Mondo Burger. He eats the Good Burger but leaves the Mondo Burger, so they're saying there's something wrong with their burgers. And in the process of trying to find out, they get locked up in the mental institute. We get a dance scene there. A scene where there's this mental woman saying she got fucking arrested for freeing the kangaroos at the zoo or something like that. There's an ice cream truck scene where Kel's throwing fucking ice cream at the people who are following them. I mean, around this time, one of them Good Burger employees, the old guy, catches some of the Mondo Burger workers sneaking into Good Burger and trying to poison the sauce. So they get back in time and all that process, and Keenan and Kel get revenge by they find out that the Mondo Burger's putting chemicals on the burgers to make them bigger, but it's not healthy for you. So there's a scene where they're breaking, going through the chimney and all that shit. Kel deliberately puts all the chemical into the burgers, the whole bottles, and they end up getting big and they fucking blow up, which causes Mondo Burger to blow up, and the cops come, they investigate, they find out that's they arrest the owner of Mondo Burger, saying they're going to look into the case as to what this chemical's doing to all the burgers. And Keenan and Kel basically celebrate because Good Burger's back in business and they're all competition. So overall, I know I rambled on a bit, but I was like trying to get you into the meaning of the plot, trying to make everyone aware what I was up against. Like I say, you've got to be really a Keenan and Kel fanatic to like this movie. To understand the nature of the comedy of the film, you've got to be into Keenan and Kel, growing up with Nickelodeon. To understand their comedy, because everyone's got their own standard, categories of comedy. So like Jim Carrey, he's got his own way of expressing comedy. Eddie Murphy's got his way of expressing his. Mike Myers and all these other comedians that you can think of. Some people have dry comedy, some people have humorous comedy, over-the-top comedy. And Keenan and Kel have their own comedy, which how they like to express theirs. Like, because Kel's always played these characters that are like loopy in the brain. He did that with his Kel character in the Keenan and Kel show. And he does the exact same thing in this movie by playing Ed, in this movie. And Keenan basically does it to some sort of similarity, but out of the two, he's more intelligent. Despite him having his humorous moments. I mean, it was nice to see Sinbad the Sailor in this movie. He acted in Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger by playing the postman. He fucking Burger falls onto his car and destroys his car. It's just. I mean, overall, I will tell you some more information about this movie, Good Burger. I've already mentioned it was made in the year of 1997. It was given it made $23.7 million at the box office with a budget of $8.5 million. It's a 95-minute movie. There was even talks of a sequel back in 2018. Keenan and Kel stated they're open for a potential sequel or a reboot of this movie. I mean, it even says here in the critical response that the film got negative reviews. And I think that's mainly by people who didn't really particularly understand the nature of this movie. If they're not Keenan and Kel fans and all that kind of shit. But like I say, it's comedy for only certain people would be able to expect. You know what I mean? I could watch Keenan and Kel all day, every day. So therefore I'm going to be a fan of their movie. I admit I'd rather watch the Keenan and Kel show than Good Burger, but with that being said, I did like Good Burger a lot. I thought it was a fun, silly comedy. Basically, it's a kids' comedy. And I personally think it worked. I loved it back then when I first saw it when I was on a holiday in Spain, and I could still put it on the TV now and still get a kick out of it, mainly for memory reasons. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? So, silly humour, stupidity, over-the-top craziness with all these characters bonding and all that shit. But I'm not a hard guy to please when it comes to these sort of comedies. And if they're played by people who you particularly grew up loving as a kid, especially Keenan and Kel, then there's going to be a place in your heart that's going to accept this movie. So, that's exactly what happened for me. So, please like, rate, and comment this, everybody. Email me if you've got any questions, and thanks for watching. We'll see where we go with the next review. But, like I said, some other people were giving their thoughts about this movie, Good Burger, ranting on it, or giving it crap, or expressing their personal views towards it. This was just my view of Good Burger, basically. So, I hope you've all been interested in hearing my views, and I'd like to hear all yours as well. We'll see where we go from here. Peace out.